I'm going to tell you something that might sound strange. Most founders are optimizing the wrong layer of their business. You're working on your marketing funnel, your conversion rates, your product features, your ad spend, your content strategy, and you're exhausted because despite all that optimization, you still feel friction. Like you're running in sand, making progress, but it's so much harder than it should be. And here's what I've learned: successful businesses operate on two levels: the visible layer, your strategy, your metrics, your tactics. This is what most consultants optimize. And the invisible layer, your foundational pattern, your natural rhythm, your competitive genome. This is what actually determines whether your business feels exhausting or energizing. Most founders spend years, sometimes decades, optimizing the visible layer while completely ignoring the invisible one. Let me show you what I mean with a real example. And I promise, once you see this, you can't unsee it. Every business operates on two levels. Think of it like an iceberg. The visible layer above the waterline. This is what you can see, what shows up in your spreadsheets, what most business advice focuses on. Your marketing strategy, your sales funnel, your conversion rates, your product features, your pricing structure, your content calendar, your team processes, your customer acquisition cost, your growth metrics. This is the layer everyone tells you to optimize. Improve your email open rates, A/B test your landing page, post content daily, run more ads, hire faster, scale your operations. And this advice isn't wrong. These things matter. But beneath all of that, hidden from view, is the layer that actually determines everything. Your foundational pattern, what you're fundamentally solving, your competitive genome, your uncopyable DNA, your natural operating rhythm, your business tempo, your origin story, why you started, your structural advantages, what only you can do. And this is the layer almost no one optimizes because you can't see it from inside your business. Here's what happens when these layers are misaligned. You implement best practices and they create friction. You follow industry advice and it feels wrong. You copy what successful competitors do and it exhausts you. You optimize endlessly but revenue plateaus. You work harder but results don't match effort. And here's the truth most consultants won't tell you. Optimizing the visible layer when your invisible layer isn't clear is like rearranging furniture on the Titanic. You're working hard on the wrong problem. And let me show you what this looks like with a real business. I'm going to show you a test audit I created for a jewelry brand called KINN. They're not a client. I chose them specifically to demonstrate how this methodology works, to prove to myself and to you that I can decode the invisible layer. I spent about 6 hours doing a complete strategic analysis of their business. And what I found is one of the clearest examples I have seen of the invisible layer at work. When you look at KINN's website, here's what you see. Modern heirloom jewelry, handcrafted in Los Angeles, 14K gold, personalized pieces for meaningful moments. Standard positioning for the jewelry category, right? But look at their competitors: Jewelry, modern jewelry, everyday luxury, Orate, sustainable fine jewelry for everyday wear, Catbird, modern heirloom jewelry. At the visible layer, they all look the same: jewelry manufacturing, product quality, customer experience, standard category positioning. If you were consulting at the visible layer, you would say, improve your Instagram, run more ads, launch products faster, optimize your conversion funnel. But then I did something different. Instead of looking at their strategy, I looked at their customer language. Do you hear what's happening here? These people aren't talking about jewelry. They're not saying beautiful necklace or great quality or fast shipping. They're talking about identity restoration, heritage reclamation, cultural belonging. KINN isn't in the jewelry business. They're in the cultural identity restoration business. While their competitors are selling products, KINN is solving an identity crisis for second and third generation immigrants who lost their cultural names, their heritage, their sense of belonging. That's their foundational pattern. That's the invisible layer. And here's where this changes everything. At the visible layer, competitor Majuri is backed by 50 million, 50 plus employees, celebrity partnerships, massive budgets. And their strategy, well, they can't compete on budget, reach, or influencer access. So result is constant pressure to lower prices, discount, and spend more on ads. At the invisible layer, competitor is nobody. There's literally no competitor. The strategy? Own the category of cultural reclamation, and the jewelry result is the premium pricing, customer loyalty, immune to price competition. So now watch this. Majuri cannot do what KINN does, not because Majuri lacks talent, not because they lack money, but because they don't have KINN's genome. Majuri's founders are Canadian, building modern everyday jewelry for Western mainstream consumers. That's their genome. That's perfect for what they do. But they cannot suddenly pivot to, we help Vietnamese diaspora reclaim their cultural names. Why? Because it would be inauthentic. They don't have lived experience, the cultural expertise, the origin story, the wound that creates obsession. Look what happens to pricing when you optimize the right layer. Majuri personalized jewelry from $50 to $150. KINN personalized jewelry from $200 to $800. KINN charges 3 to 5 times more, not because their gold costs more, but because they're solving a deeper problem at the invisible layer. And this is what a strategic audit reveals. This is the difference between operational advantages and structural advantages. So operational advantages is better marketing, faster shipping, more ad spend can be copied with capital. And the structural advantages is woven into your founder's story. Your lived experience, your specific capabilities cannot be reverse engineered. When you can see your structural advantage clearly, everything changes. And I created this test audit to prove something. Once you understand the framework, you can decode the invisible layer of any business. This is the pattern recognition I bring to True North audits. Now, let me help you identify if you're finding your business invisible logic. Here's 3 warning signs. Sign number 1, industry best practices create constant friction. You implement what everyone says you should do, and it feels wrong. Not just hard, wrong. Every jewelry brand expert says you need weekly product launches, constant newness, speed is everything. That's how modern brands win. But if KINN tried that, it would destroy their positioning. Why? Because their invisible layer operates on a different rhythm. They're what I call precision craft, where depth matters more than frequency, where 1 to 2 deeply meaningful collections annually creates more value than 52 product drops. When you're precision craft trying to operate at rapid iteration tempo, it feels like running in wet sand. Exhausting, but not making progress. Ask yourself, do best practices in your industry feel like wearing someone else's clothes? They might be great clothes, but just not for your body. That's sign 1. You're optimizing for the wrong rhythm at the invisible layer. Sign number 2. Your best work happens in a rhythm that feels wrong. You know how you work best. Defocus for weeks, then big launches. or rapid testing, constant iteration, daily improvements. But your industry says you should work differently. So you force yourself into their tempo and everything gets harder. I've seen founders who naturally build once yearly, massive, deeply researched programs they spend 10 months creating. Their industry says launch monthly, evergreen funnels, constant enrollment. So they try and they're miserable. Quality drops, energy tanks, and students notice. When they go back to annual launches, revenue triples because the product is exceptional, because they are operating at their natural rhythm. Ask yourself, when do you do your best work? What's your natural tempo? If it doesn't match industry's advice, you're not wrong. You're just operating at a different rhythm at the invisible layer. Sign number 3. Customers describe your value in ways that surprise you. You think you're selling X. They think they're buying Y. The gap, that's your invisible logic trying to reveal itself. KINN thought, we sell personalized jewelry. Customer said, you gave me my cultural identity back. That's a massive difference and it changes everything. Positioning, pricing, entire strategy. Go read your last 20 5-star reviews right now. Are they about product features or transformation? Feature language, fast shipping, beautiful product, great quality. Transformation language, this changed how I see myself. I cried when I opened it. My family finally understands our story. If you're getting transformation language, you're not selling products. You're solving deeper human needs at the invisible layer. And that's where premium pricing lives. That's where category creation happens. That's where 100-year businesses are built. But only if you stop optimizing the visible layer and start revealing the invisible one. Here's why understanding your invisible layer is more critical than ever. We're entering what I call the age of origin. AI has made generic intelligence worthless. ChatGPT can create good enough strategy in 30 seconds. Your competitors can copy your tactics overnight, but best practices are instantly available to everyone. So if everyone has access to the same visible layer optimization tools, what becomes valuable? What cannot be copied? Your invisible layer, your foundational pattern, your competitive genome, your origin story. Right now, most founders are trying to win by optimizing the visible layer better than competitor. Better ads, faster growth, more content, improved funnels. That's a losing game because in 12 months, AI will make all of that commoditized. But your invisible layer, your foundational pattern that's encoded in your lived experience, your origin wound, your specific capabilities, that cannot be commoditized, that cannot be automated, that cannot be copied. The businesses that win in 2025 and beyond won't be the ones with the best AI tools. They will be the ones with the most clarity about their invisible layer and the courage to build from it, even when it looks different from what everyone else is doing. And this is why I'm obsessed with pattern recognition, because once you see invisible layer, everything changes. Your positioning becomes clear, your pricing power increases, your strategic decisions become obvious, your energy returns. Not because you're working harder, but because you're finally optimizing the right layer. So how do you start revealing your invisible layer? Here are 3 questions I ask in every strategic audit. Question 1. What do your customers actually say? Not what you think they're buying. What do they actually say in reviews when they're emotional? Go read your testimonials. Highlight the transformation language, not the feature language. That's your invisible layer speaking. Question 2. What industry advice creates the most friction? What are you supposed to do that feels wrong? That's often a sign you're operating at a different rhythm or foundational pattern than the industry standard. And the question number 3, What can you do because of your specific path that others can't? Not just skills, but the unique combination of your lived experience, your origin wound, and your capability fusion. Write down your answers. Don't overthink it. Just observe. What patterns emerge? What's trying to reveal itself? That's your invisible layer. And once you see it, you can build from it intentionally. Look, I know this is different from typical business advice. Most people tell you to optimize your funnel, improve your ads, post more content. And yes, those things matter at the visible layer. But if your invisible layer is misaligned, you'll be exhausted trying to make the visible layer work. I've created a free business pattern discovery worksheet. It walks you through the questions I asked to help identify your foundational pattern, your competitive genome, your natural rhythm, the core elements of your invisible layer. It's the same framework I use in my strategic audit, just in worksheet form. You won't get the full depth, but you'll start seeing patterns you couldn't see before. Link is in the description. Drop a comment with what your foundational pattern might be. Sometimes just articulating it helps crystallize everything. Next week, I'm breaking down the competitive genome, the 3-strand DNA that makes your business uncopyable, even against well-funded competitors. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.